Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. This is me coming back and recommitting to my little booktube channel because I've missed filming this kind of content so much. I have had some vlogs in the works for months that I am feeling really motivated to crack down on and get those completed and out for you guys. And I decided that the best place to start in coming back and reviving this channel a little bit is a recent reads. I have some books. They're not since I last did a wrap up because I have no idea when that was, but I do have a handful of physical books here that I've read recently, and we'll talk about a handful of books I've read on my Kindle recently as well. Not in any particular order necessarily, but I'm excited to share them with you nonetheless. So today's video is going to be a recent reads, a reading wrap up. I'm going to chat about the books I've read recently, what I thought about them, and my rating. And if that's something that interests you, I would love if you stuck around. I want to kick it off here with Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This is on my 25 books to read in 2025, which I semi-forgot about, but there are a few books that I've read recently that are on that list, so it's back in my thoughts. This is the second book in the Infernal Devices trilogy, and I'm really liking this series. This has like that grimy, dark Victorian London atmosphere, and I'm enjoying the series much more than I am the Mortal Instruments. That is more like modern urban fantasy, and this has that historical element that I'm really loving. Have I ever been more conflicted in a love triangle? Is Tessa going to go with Will, or is she going to go with Jem? I don't know. Can't she just love both of them at the same time? Because I love them both dearly. I gave that book 4 stars, and I definitely need to read Clockwork Princess soon. I read Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. You will be seeing this in an upcoming reading vlog. I am trying to be better about finishing off series before the end of the year, so I did complete the Crimson Moth duology. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I liked it a little bit less than Heartless Hunter, which I gave 5 stars. This is a YA romantasy. We're following a witch and a witch hunter in a cat and mouse game. This is like an enemies to lovers to enemies to lovers, and the way that Kristen Cicerelli was able to draw out that tension and banter into the second book of a duology where our characters have significant relation development in the first book until the end. There's something that happens. Coming into the second book, sometimes it's hard to keep the tension there, keep the intrigue, and she definitely did that. I read The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling in October. I thought this would be like a cutesy, spooky read for coming towards Halloween, and it definitely was that. I listened to the audiobook. I gave this 3 stars. I liked it. It was cute. It was witchy. It's definitely more like contemporary rom-com-y than what I typically like for like paranormal or fantasy romance. Because this is very much like modern day, but they do have witchy powers. I don't know. It was cute. I liked it. Not an absolute favorite. Something I did absolutely devour and I would consider a favorite that I finished in October, Starling House by Alexi Harrow. I need to read everything by this author. Slow down. I gave this 5 stars, obviously. It opens up as like, this is the story of Starling House, and boy, is it ever. This gothic, atmospheric tale captured all of my attention. The audiobook was good in this as well, but there are illustrations, at least in the copy I have, which I feel I missed out on a little bit, some of them at least. So I want to read it with my eyeballs completely the next time I read it, and there will be a next time. This has the dark atmosphere, a sentient house, which I didn't know if it had for sure until I read it, but that definitely plays a role, which makes it even better. A small town with a harrowing history and eldritch creatures. What more could a girl ask for? This was 5 stars. Some other books I read physically that my mom is actually currently borrowing, so I'll pop in pictures for you. The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. Favorite book of the year so far. I've had some really great reads lately since I'd last shared them with you. 5 stars, obviously. Infinity stars. Bartholomew, I need the second book in this duology immediately. What do you mean I need to wait until September 2026? That seems unusually cruel. I will be rereading this to prepare for, what is the next book called? The Knave and the Moon. The title has been released already. This also has a gothic atmosphere, a unique magic system, the humor, the romance, it all hit just so good. I was absolutely swooning over these characters. I have been doing a terrible job at telling you what these things are about. Do not mix vodka and curses, even if you think you're joking around. If you're actually a witch, probably shouldn't curse your ex-boyfriend. So this is like second chance. I sometimes dream of a house I've never gone to. This sentient house, Starling House, lures its next wardens to them when the current warden is nearing the end of their time, and not necessarily because they're aging. So our main character Opal is the next warden, I almost said victim, of the Starling House. The Night and the Moth, we are following Six, or Sybil, who is a diviner, and she divines or sees the omens through drowning in this spring, and she lives in this like beautiful gothic cathedral. There are sentient gargoyles, and soon the rest of the diviners are going missing one by one, and this sarcastic asshole of a knight reluctantly decides to help her, though she doesn't give him much choice. The world and the magic system and the omens. Rachel Gillig has such unique magic systems. One Dark Window had like that tarot card magic-ish, and then this one, I'm just blown away by her writing. She has become an auto-buy author for sure. Also physically, I read Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. This is a standalone, and it has this like beautiful springy cover with these florals and these honeybees, and that does play a role, but there is something going on. This gave like Little Women vibes, that wholesome, historical, small town, tight-knit family, like large family vibe, but with an extremely sinister twist. There is something going on in this small town. The duality of that was so interesting. I was locked in. We did have like these wholesome family moments. They have is it an apiary? Like they sow wildflowers, and then they have like their honeybees, and they pick the flowers each season to adjust like the flavor of their honey, and then they make and sell honey cakes at the end of the season, and also like purify and jar up their honey and sell that, and that's how the family makes their money. So we have a lot of those like cozy, mundane elements in this story. Alongside, we have a dark and monstrous something happening in this like small isolated town. They are very far removed from like the city or town, where once the snow falls, like you can't go anywhere. I did give this book 4 stars. The pacing with the suspense and the dread was just a little bit off for me. I feel like we hit this really high suspenseful peak towards the middle of the book, and I don't think our author was quite able to like hold that dread like and carry it through to the end of the story, if that makes sense. And I also felt like a few not necessarily a few plot lines, like plot holes, but like a few characters we got to know at the beginning-ish of the book. Things happened with them that I felt like were kind of forgotten by the end. Like I wish we would have came back to some of the things that they were dealing with, and there were significant events such as things to do with the supply runs that I felt were kind of skimmed over. But overall, I definitely enjoyed this book a lot. Okay, let's chat about some books I've been reading on my Kindle. I read The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole with book Bestie Sam, of course. And I gave this like a 4+ stars. It wasn't quite a 5-star read, but I'm locked in. Sam said this perfectly in our group chat. We talk literally every day about the books we're reading, that this feels kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, but darker and in like a romantasy format, which I totally agree. We have a morally gray female villain. Our FMC is a morally gray, dark character, and I'm totally here for that. I feel like we don't get that enough. I said this was fast moving with an expansive plot. I love the humorous banter. I highlighted so many quips that had me laughing out loud. So good. The ending had my jaw on the floor, and I may need to pick up book 2 ASAP. Spoiler alert, I still have not done that, but I definitely need to. I feel like so much happened in this book, and it's only, how many pages is it? 564 pages, so it's a big book, but I just couldn't believe like how many conflicts we had, how many people we met, things we learned about. Like so much was packed into this. I'm into it. I am into it. The tagline of this series is World Ender meets Ender of Worlds. Sam and I have been continuing on our Lady of Darkness series read. We read Lady of Ashes, Lady of Embers, and The Reaper, which is 4.5 since whenever I last updated you, I believe. And my interest in this series is waning. The first book, Lady of Darkness, I think I gave it like 4+ stars. I really enjoyed it. I was locked in. I was feeling like when you start reading Throne of Glass for the first time. The first 2 books are a little bit rough, but like Sarah J. Maas was like pulling you in. You saw the potential, and I felt like that was what was happening to me in this book. It was giving me those feelings. I was like, okay, this wasn't my favorite, but I feel like we're laying the groundwork for this to be an all-time favorite series, and unfortunately that has not been the case. Lady of Ashes, I gave a 3.5. I felt like it dragged. There were so many interesting elements, but the pacing was way off. So much of this book was conversations and miscommunications between our found family. And of course, the ending was wild and has me immediately wanting to pick up the next book. Book 3, Lady of Ashes, was feeling like how Iron Flames felt for me, where I'm like, we could have cut 200 pages out of this book if we stopped having the same conversation again and again, or the same argument again and again. Lady of Embers, I gave 2 stars. I said blank, Cyrus said, only slightly irritated that we were having this discussion again. That's a direct quote from the book. I said, you know who's more than slightly irritated? Me. This book is 90% dialogue, and they rehash the exact same things again and again. And Scarlet is one of the most self-centered FMCs I've ever read about. Could have easily been 200+ pages shorter, and I'd still have been annoyed. So this book is swiftly going downhill. I did give The Reaper, the novella, 3 stars. In this, we're seeing more about Rainer and his past, and I don't really feel like it added that much to the story. We got the impact of his trauma in Lady of Embers when he was telling us about that within the real book, and then we just kind of like rehashed that in a novella, and I don't really feel like it added anything to the story, unfortunately. So I think we are reading Lady of Starfire, book number 5, soon-ish. I'm so sad that I haven't been loving that series, though. I feel like I don't have that much to say about a lot of things, which is also kind of weird. Like, I read a lot of mediocre books and then a lot of really great books. I did read the Scared Sexy collection that was like Amazon Original Stories for KU. Fanro novellas by 6 different popular authors, and I really loved the first book. Book number 1, Hot for Slayer by Ellie Hazelwood, I gave 5 stars. This was a vampire romance, centuries long, slow burn. I really loved it. Again, these are all like under 100 pages. Falling by Christina Lauren, I gave 3 stars. I said cute ending, even though I saw that coming a million miles away. Spicy Little Curses by J.T. Geisinger, I gave 4 stars. Scary and sexy. Space Vampire, I gave 3. This book was like a little too weird for me. I don't know, and I read a lot of weird books. Beautiful Nightmare by Katie Robert, I gave 2 stars. I don't know what this says about me, but that man was too much of a simp or a cinnamon roll for me to enjoy at all. And then My Boyfriends Are All Monsters by Kimberly Lemming, I also gave 2 stars. I said, was this a fever dream? Because what the hell was even going on? And yeah, that's basically how I felt about that book. And I feel like that's basically it. I have been wrapping up and continuing on in series. There's a few books that you will be seeing my thoughts in upcoming reading vlogs that I've been reading as well, but I am excited to wrap things up coming towards the end of the year. I did adjust my reading goal. I reduced it from 100 to 75 books because there's no way I'm reading over 100 books this year, which is fine, but I have read some really fantastic books, and I have also been reading some really great books this month too, which I'm excited to share with you before the end of the year. But I'm gonna stop rambling and chatting your ear off. Let me know in the comments below a book that you have loved over the last few months. Leave a 5-star that you've had recently in the comments. If you enjoyed this recent reads video, give it a thumbs up so that I know, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.